All right, this is the closest I could find to a snowy background. It kind of looks like snow. What we're going to do with this video is just set up the math lesson that you are walking through today. Let me just pull that up on the screen. You're working with right angles today. So actually want to work with it here. Okay, so this is the lesson you're looking at. It's got this cool picture of kind of looking down a stairwell, and you've got stairs going kind of in all different directions. And it's pretty interesting, and you'll see that kind of every shape in this picture is made using perfect corners, and we like to call those right angles, where two lines come together to make a perfect corner, and we call those right angles. So what this first part of the activity is going to do, it's going to have you kind of work through a bit of a problem. I'm not sure if I copied on the back of this page, or if you want to use the back of this page for your work, or maybe you want to use a separate page so you can look at the work and write beside yourself. You could even squeeze your work kind of off to the side of this page as long as you write neatly. I will recommend every day in this unit to, if you have a ruler, it'd be a great tool to help you. If you don't have a ruler, you could use just maybe something that has a straight edge. A thin book could be a straight edge, and just kind of use the spine of the book. But it will help you make straight lines, which will be really helpful in making your shapes and angles. So we're focusing on right angles, and let's just go through the problem in the question. So it says, create a closed shape that contains at least one right angle. Mark the right angle with a small square and describe your shape. Okay, so there's two parts of that. You're gonna mark it with a small square, the right angle, and you're gonna describe your shape. So there's lots and lots and lots of different shapes you could draw. You just need to make sure you have a right angle. Once again, I'm using a tool on the computer that doesn't allow me to use a ruler, so I'm just trying my very best to make straight lines, but you could definitely have a ruler. So let's call this my right angle, and then I would close my shape any way that I need to. So I'm going to stick with using straight lines, or as straight as I can make them. And I'll just kind of come over here, and over here, and over here. Now I might describe this shape by saying it has 5 sides, so I could call it a pentagon. And I could also describe some of the other angles. Maybe I have more than one right angle. I'd have to check these ones out. They look pretty close to right angles. And these angles here, they look pretty big. They look bigger than right angles if we remember our lesson from yesterday. So we would call those maybe obtuse angles. How else could I describe my shape? I could get a ruler and measure the sides of my shape and put those measurements in. It's up to you how much detail you include in describing your shape, but more is always better. All right, now number 2 is different. It says create a closed shape that contains exactly 2 right angles. So this first one was at least 1. So we really have to pay attention to the wording. So this one was at least 1, and this one is exactly 2. So now I would be drawing a shape with exactly 2 right angles. And I'm not going to draw them all for you because I want you to get a chance to do some thinking and not just have me do the thinking for you. And then describe your shape. So mark each right angle with a small square, describe your shape. Next, create a closed shape that contains exactly 3 right angles. Mark each right angle with a small square, describe your shape. And finally, create a closed shape that contains exactly 6 right angles. Get your creativity hat on. Make sure it's on tight, because you'll need to be creative to create a shape with 6 right angles, no more, no less, exactly 6. And you're going to mark each right angle with a small square and describe your shape. Okay, so like I said, you could do this on. All right, let's take a look into part 2 of the right angles lesson that is scheduled for Tuesday, December 1st, which happens to be a snow day today, which looks a little different. This is the part 2, and this is just the show what you know page. The first question says, which of these is not a right angle? So which one is not a perfect corner? Remember the tip of using the corner of a piece of paper, right? That's your perfect corner, and you could slide it into that angle. Sorry, I know I just covered up the camera. And see if it fits nicely. If it fits perfectly, then you have a right angle. If it doesn't, maybe you see a little extra angle peeking out, or you see it covering the entire angle, then you know that that's not a right angle. So one of these is not a right angle. Please circle it. Number 2, mark each right angle with a small square. So every right angle needs to have a small square, and I've been showing you that that just kind of looks like this. So there's a perfect corner right angle. Mark each one with a small square. And there's a third one here, kind of a very irregular shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is an irregular octagon because it has 8 sides. Number 3 says create a closed shape. This shape must have some right angles and some angles that are not right angles. There must be more right angles than angles that are not right angles. Mark each right angle. Use a ruler or a straight edge. Okay. It doesn't tell you, you don't need to describe it. You just need to create it following the rules. And these are the important parts. So you must have some right angles. You must have some angles that are not. And there needs to be more right angles than angles that are not. So I wonder if anyone else out there enjoys highlighting questions as much as I do to find and pull out the most important pieces. Really helps me understand and focus. Okay, so this is part 2 of your math for Tuesday. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you are enjoying the switch to geometry and shape creation and thinking about angles. Good luck with your math today. If you have questions, we'll definitely talk about this tomorrow morning during our math meeting. If we have a math meeting, and I'm pretty sure we will. But also, if you're really confused, you can send me an email today, and I will answer those as quickly as I can. Thank you for watching, and happy mathing.